In this video, we're going to look at the appearance section of the preferences in Mixbus 32C. Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland, and sometimes it's good to get to know your preferences window so you can kind of predefine a few functions and make your doll work how you want. So in Mixbus, there's an area for appearance, and we can see that if we click on that part, we can change the mixer strip scale. So I have a pretty big screen here, but let's just say, for instance, if I want to make it a lot smaller, I can do that. And you can also see on the screen that everything is way smaller, which is kind of hard to see. So I probably want to keep it like that. So if I go to 100%, it's going to make everything a lot bigger, which I prefer. So you can actually see the numbers on the screen and kind of see what you're doing. But let's make it even bigger. Okay, so here we actually have a problem to where you can't really see the full mixer strip because everything is way too enlarged. So for me, I like to keep it around 100%. That's a good overall view, and it's going to work best for your screen size. All right, now if you have a really small like laptop screen, maybe a 13-inch like I was using before, everything's going to be small anyway, so it's just going to be hard to see. All right, the next thing that I see most people ask about is, hey, how can I make my waveforms actually bigger without changing the volume of that waveform? Well, what you want to go to is the editor and waveform scale, and we have logarithmic or we have linear. So right now it's on logarithmic, and this is what that looks like. I can make that a little bit bigger here. But if I go over and change it to linear, okay, you can see everything gets a little bit smaller. So regardless of how loud you record your track, you can make that waveform a little bit bigger by going to Preferences, Editor, Waveform Scale, and then Logarithmic. It's going to make everything nice and big for you. Okay. And then the Waveform Shape, I usually have mine in traditional, but you can go rectified. And that's simply just going to cut off the bottom half of the waveform. So you're only seeing the peaks and valleys on the top part of it, which that's not how I prefer to work. So I just keep mine on traditional. And you can change the toolbar. So you can either choose to display record punch options. So if we take that off, you can see that that goes away. This section right here. Display monitor options, which is cool. Okay, so you got the input, all in or all disk. And you got display selection clock, which I don't really need that for anything. There's a secondary clock, which is what this is right here. So if you want to free up some space on the top toolbar here, you can. There's a navigation timeline you can turn on and off, or there's display master level, which is what this area over here is. All right, and then we got the theme. You can draw flat buttons, which is somewhat interesting. All right, so right now you can see a certain look. If I do draw flat buttons, it's going to kind of thin out the separation lines. We can do LED meter style. And there's also draw boxy buttons. Okay, so it's either curved or it's going to be boxy. Then there's also a timeline item gradient depth. All right, so we can see that the timeline got a lot darker, and we can't really see the subdivision lines going through the region, which I do like to see that a little bit. So let's turn that down and see what happens. Okay, so it basically just got a little bit brighter. So that's what the gradient does right there. We'll take it back to 0.4. There is colors. And if you go to transparency, you got the opaque region base. So if we turn that down, okay, you can actually start seeing the lines right there. So it makes editing a little bit easier. And I'm sure you can do some other stuff in here. So you can go in here, you can change a lot of the colors and whatnot. Just kind of mess around with, pick something and see, if you change it, see what that actually does to the track itself. And you can change the palette, and you can change the items, the different colors of stuff. But anyway, that is a few of the things I'll look for in the appearance section of the preferences. This is going to help the overall workflow of your session, and you can edit things a lot easier, put them on the grid. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.